Okay, what's more fun than doing one stoichiometry problem? Yes, it's true. 2 stoichiometry problems. We'll be using, come on, Matt. There it is. What's the password? The mole troll needs the password. Password, always. Mole ratio. Easy. Okay. What do? Balance the equation. You have to start with a balanced equation. So, count calciums. There's 1 calcium in the reactant, 1 in the product. You're good to go. 2 oxygens in the reactant, but only 1 in the product. So I need to balance that equation. I'm going to use a coefficient of 2 to balance my oxygens, and a coefficient of 2 here to balance my calciums. You can put a 1 in the blank, but you'll get tired of doing that. But you can, just to keep it straight. How many grams of oxygen are needed in order to produce 70 grams of calcium oxide? Well, my box, my given, and circle my unknown. I start these problems the same way I started them in the mole unit. I write my given, 70.0 grams of CaO. Okay, in order to get out of grams, I first disco down the unit. I mean, you can't do anything without discoing down units. So I put grams of CaO. I go to my mole map. Okay, I've got grams of calcium oxide and I want moles of calcium oxide. So I follow the map. In order to get to grams of something else, from grams of calcium oxide, in order to get to grams of oxygen, I'm going to have to follow the map. It's a map. You follow the directions. Well, the arrow is pointing this way. So I go from grams to moles of calcium oxide by putting 1 mole over the molar mass. Molar mass of calcium oxide. So 1 mole of calcium oxide is a certain number of grams. Pull out a periodic table. There it is. Okay, mass of calcium, 40.078. 40.078. And there's only 1 calcium. There's also only 1 oxygen, so I'm just going to add those molar masses together. Molar mass of oxygen, 15.999. And hit the equal sign. Look, there you go. 56.077 is the mass in a mole of calcium oxide. So 56.077 grams in a mole. Cancel my grams. Disco down the unit. Put moles of calcium oxide over here. Okay, well, I don't want calcium oxide. I need to get to oxygen. So if I look at my mole map, I've got moles of calcium oxide. I need to get to moles of oxygen. So I have to cross that bridge, and I have to encounter the mole troll. And the mole troll says, what's the password? Well, the password's always mole ratio. We already know the password. So in order to get from moles of calcium oxide to moles of oxygen, I need to use the mole ratio. Over here. Mole ratio. Okay, well, I've got moles of calcium oxide on the bottom, and there are 2 moles of calcium oxide. I want grams of oxygen, so I need the moles of oxygen, and there is 1 mole of O2. Disco down my unit again, moles of oxygen. Okay, and go back to my mole map. Okay, so across the bridge, I gave the mole ratio, grams of oxygen to grams of calcium oxide. So I passed up the bridge. I've got moles of oxygen, and now I need grams of oxygen. Well, it's a map, so you follow the direction. The directions, the arrow's pointing that way. So it looks like I'm going to put the molar mass over 1 mole. So I put the molar mass of oxygen over 1 mole of oxygen. So what's the molar mass of oxygen? Okay, since it's O2, it's 15.999 times 2. 31.998 grams of O2 in 1 mole of O2. Moles cancel. Look, I got grams. That's what I wanted. I got grams. I'm done. If grams of oxygen is what you're looking for, and you finally get that in the numerator, you're finished. Now you can do math, and we all love math. So I'm going to multiply everything in the numerator together. I sure do wish you could see that better. Let's see if I can move it. Okay. 70 times 1 times 1 times 31.998. That's going to be 2,239.86. That's what's in my numerator. In my denominator, I've got 56.077 times 2 times 1. $112.154. Okay, think back to like, I don't know, 5th grade? Don't know. Divide denominator into numerator. So you go 2239.86 divided by 112.154. 19.97. Looks like we have 19.97 grams of oxygen. You see, that wasn't so painful. Use the mole map. Sometimes people need the mole map. It's handy, okay? We started with grams of calcium oxide. We followed the arrow. We put 1 mole over the molar mass of calcium oxide, which converted us to moles. Then we got to the mole troll. You got to convert from moles of A to moles of B, but you aren't crossing that bridge unless you give the password. Password is mole ratio, so you go back to your balanced equation and you find the mole ratio. You're going to put the moles of what you're trying to find of your unknown on top, and you're going to put moles of your given on bottom. And you take those numbers from the balanced chemical equation. There's 1 mole of oxygen, 2 moles of calcium oxide. Okay, gave the password. We got 2 moles of oxygen. Follow the map. Follow the arrow that way. So we put molar mass of oxygen over 1 mole of oxygen. Molar mass of oxygen over 1 mole of oxygen. Did a little bit of division, and look, we did it. This is easy. I know you can do it.